Today I decided I'm going to make my own dark chocolate. I have tried to do it before and everyone seemed to really like it, so I thought I would share how I do it. It's super, super simple. And then after I made my first batch of just regular dark chocolate, I decided to start adding stuff to it. So today I'm going to be adding some fig balsamic vinegar to it. And yes, I have tried the balsamic vinegar in with the dark chocolate and it is quite yummy. I got this at the Old World Olive Company, which there is one near where I live in Plymouth, Michigan, in the downtown area, and I literally could spend hours in there. I bought all these little samples to make my soaps and chocolates, and anyway, just to eat healthier with as well. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we have water in our little saucepan here. We're making a double boiler. I like to use a measuring device here, a little measuring cup, because I want to directly pour it into my little molds. All right, so what we're going to use is we're going to use some cacao butter wafers. I did get this at Better Health. You can find it in their health section, not in the food section. This is organic cacao butter unsweetened wafers. The only thing that would make this even more of a homemade, do-it-yourself, really great recipe is if I were to grow my own cacao beans, and that's not going to happen because I'm in Michigan. All right, so we've got them in there just so you can see. Make sure you get no water in this, but here's the cacao butter wafers in there. So that was about a fourth of the wafers, and you're going to let that start to kind of melt. And once that's melted, what you're going to do is you're going to add the other ingredients in. So we'll go ahead and give this some time to melt, and we'll add the other ingredients in step by step, and I'll show you the mold and everything and how I make that as well. Okay, so it is all melted. Let me show you this. You can see it's all gloriously melted in there. So let's go ahead and put that down. We're going to grab a little whisk here because I like to use the little one, and we're just going to whisk in the organic cacao powder, which you can get at Better Health and Fresh Time. Both of these you can get, the cacao wafers and the powder, in their health section, not in the food section. Okay, here we go. And I've turned off the heat, so let's go ahead and just start putting this in a little bit slowly at a time here. I notice I still have it in the heat. I've just turned it off. Okay, let's get it all in there. So that was a fourth cup of the wafers and the powder, and now what you want is a tablespoon and a half of real maple syrup at room temperature. Now I am a diabetic, as you guys all know, so what I am using, everything I've put in so far has no carbs in it, no sugar. This has fiber carbohydrates, no sugar hydrates, and it's very, very low in any type of the hydrates, well, in the fiber, and this has absolutely no carbs, no sugar. So we'll use only a tablespoon of the maple syrup, and you want to do it at room temperature. And again, I still have this in the heat because I want it to be still melted. And now we're going to add a little bit of pure vanilla. I do like this company. I like their vanilla. So let's go ahead and get that going. Now it's starting to heat, starting to harden, so I'm going to turn the heat back on a little bit here, and let's just, and that happens sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it does. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to use, you want about a teaspoon of vanilla for this recipe. I always use the cap, and I don't fill it full, and that's about a teaspoon. I love the vanilla taste, so if I go a little bit over, I'm fine with that. And then we're going to get that in there, and we're going to let it get melted again. And while we're getting this all whisked together, I am now going to add the balsamic vinegar as well. So let's get that in there. Now I've got to let it melt just a little bit more. I'm going to do the cap again, but I'm not going to go all the way because it's kind of a deep cap. And actually, you know what? I do kind of want to, I don't think you have to shake it, but I always do. I don't know why. It's just old school, I guess. All right. So we just want a little bit of a taste Okay, and that was almost a full capful, so let's get that in there. Okay, and now okay, we're gonna let this melt up again so that I can pour it into my little mold. So I'll have to show you what that looks like in just a minute. So give me just a minute to get this melted again, because that does happen, and I didn't want to change this around and redo this again, because I wanted you to see that just because sometimes it doesn't go exactly as the recipe says, like this isn't completely, it's going to harden up, but we can fix it. Okay, give me a minute or two to fix it and I'll come right back to you. Okay, so I did get it all melty again. Now, one of the tricks you can do, just so you know in the future, is you can add more of the cacao wafers. That will really help. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring this in. Let's move this out of the way so that you can see. I have got butterfly molds here, and I love this. I've been using it a lot. I love butterflies. So, all right, let's wipe off. I'm gonna wipe off this. I don't want water to get in it. And here we go. Let's pour. So just take your time. And if you have any left over, you can always put it back into your double boiler and you can heat it up a little bit more. And if you've got another thing of molds, which I have a ton of molds, you can always add it to, I have these flower molds that I use sometimes. And this takes about, whoops, I went a little over, but that's okay because it's still tasty. This takes about an hour to 2 hours, depending on how cold your fridge is. Oh, I'm making a big mess, but I don't even care because it's for me. And I am going to eat it no matter if it looks like a butterfly or a blob. Anyway, you can leave it overnight, or it'll just take a couple of hours. I like to leave mine in for several hours because I want to make sure it's definitely hard. Now, the nice thing about this is I tested this. You can leave this out all day and it does not melt. A lot of dark chocolates melt. This does not melt. So that's kind of nice. All right, I'm going to have a little bit left over. So I'm going to put it back in the heated water pan and I'm going to make sure everything is pretty full. Yes. All right, so I'm going to put mine back in there because I'm going to put mine in a little flower mold for just me. And I think I may add a little salt to that too. So I will show you what this looks like when it comes out of the mold. Okay, so they have been in the fridge for over 2 hours. So I'm going to check them out here. So let's see, let's pop them out. And oh boy, look at how beautiful that looks. So we now have some really wonderful homemade dark chocolate. You know that there's hardly any sugar or carbs in it. And these are safe to eat for you. And let's taste them and see how they taste. Let me see if I can taste the fig in there. Man, that is good. All right. I know I didn't have to say this earlier. I don't have to say it now, but I'm going to make sure before you do anything with food, hair back, wash your hands. Okay. If you make this recipe, please let me know. Oh, I can't talk. It's so good. I can't even talk. Let me know. And from one grateful diabetic to another, or anyone that wants to eat healthy, enjoy.